Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Chant A Psalm A. We are here again today. It is Tuesday, the 19th. It is a beautiful day outside. Really wonderful day outside. It's going to be a beautiful day. We give thanks for this day. I hope everybody's doing well out there in, behind their laptops or their computers or their TV screens, however you have me on this channel. Thank you so much for joining Chant A Psalm A. Ah, my gosh, we have so much to unpack. But first, let me put this painting back here. We have a lot to unpack today, so much. So we're going to get started. And let's unpack some things. Okay, first, I wanted to ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of what is right, what is good, what is kind, what is loving. And we want to be in that space. We want to stay there because there's so many things that can get us and pull us out of those spaces. That is good spaces. I call them, kindness and goodness. And I had an encounter with a student, and this encounter with a student, the student was getting hostile and disrespectful. Yeah, getting hostile and disrespectful. And I had to err on the side of kindness because I figured that people who are not kind, they don't have an example of what's kind. So we who are kind have to be that example, even though they're not being kind to us. We have to be the example of what is kind. Because, when it all is at the end of the day, that's all you have is your kindness and your goodness. That is what's going to propel you to safety. So thank you for joining Chant A Psalm A. We are here today on Tuesday. And as we journey through the days, we are getting closer and closer to, these American holidays, I call them. I call them consumerism because it's part of the capitalistic society and people are part of it. They're the battery that runs the capitalistic society. I don't want to be one of those. So I don't celebrate that stuff. What I celebrate is what I chant every day on the Psalm, and I celebrate love. And if you express that love by having a turkey in the middle of your table or having a tree in the middle of your living room, that's you. That's how you express love. And that's you. We have to be careful not to be of this world, even though we're in the world. So we have to, set ourselves in that right space because things are not going to be the same, right? Blessed greetings, Toledo. Thank you for your compliment. I don't feel that I'm gorgeous. I'm okay, but I appreciate your compliment and I thank you for sharing that on my channel. So when we look at the Psalm today, and look at how our lives are part of, we're part of this. Oh my goodness. Okay. I have somebody asking a question on here. Um, However, I appreciate your question and I appreciate you tuning in to Chant A Psalm A Day. I also appreciate the fact that you're liking the video. Thanks for liking the video, by the way. And the question is coming in about my status, my status, my marital status, or my relationship status. That's what it's called, relationship status. So when we're looking at our relationship status, are we single, or are we engaged, or are we I look at the Facebook, relationship statuses that they have choice, but they don't have a choice of, yo, blessed greetings. Look at Connie. Thank you so much, Connie. Blessed Tuesday to you. I haven't forgotten you now, okay? But I'm getting a question about my relationship status. But before I get into that relationship status, I wanted to start off with the verse today, because the verse today, when I looked at it this morning, I was pleasantly, surprised, and I really appreciate the word, the scriptures. We have to stay in the word. We have to stay there. So in the verse today, verse is verse 1 and 2, and it's from Psalm number 1. And this verse today, coming from Psalm number 1, is talking about walking in step, walking in righteousness, right? And not in step with the wicked. So when I look at this, and the question of, am I single, comes, brings an answer that verse 1 to 2, Psalm 1 is talking about. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers. However, blessed is the one whose delight is in the law of righteousness, the law of the Lord, and who meditates on that law day and night. So, to answer the question, if I'm single, greetings of love and tranquility with massive gratitude for the Most High daily. El Sue, thank you so much for joining. Welcome to Chant A Psalm A Day. Thank you for liking this video, by the way. I just said it and it just popped up in a like. That's thumbs up. And the question of whether I'm single. So in answering that question, I have to look at myself as one with the Most High. So I am married to righteousness, if that makes any sense. I go to sleep with righteousness next to me, cuddled up. Oh, excuse me. I commune with righteousness. I talk with that. I live with, this is what I am. Okay. And yes, I was, I do have children. I have 3. 1 passed away, and I have 2. Being a mother, losing a child is the hardest thing in the world that could happen. I don't wish that on anybody. Not even the person who left me a vicious voicemail. I don't wish that on anyone. However, when we talk about relationship status, we look at that as belonging to someone and someone belonging to us. However, we don't belong to anyone, and no one belongs to us. We're temporary. Relationships are temporary. Thank you so much, Rudy. Thank you. Blessed to you and to yours as well. So when we look at relationships, we have to look at them as we do not belong to anyone. And no one belongs to us, not even my own children. I grew up telling my children, I'm just your caretaker. I'm temporary. You need to find that higher love that is the most high daily that El Su talks about there. You have to find that. And it's not outside of yourself you're finding this. This is within you. This is inside of you. So in order to be a full person, you have to look at yourself. You have to commune with righteousness with yourself. And I told my children that I'm temporary. I'm just, and I didn't have them call me mommy. I'm not that. That's a false reality, because one day I'm not going to be there. What are you going to, you're going to fall apart and come on. Our focus has to be that higher power. And that higher power is within us. But we have to tap into something greater than ourselves, even though that greater than ourselves is within ourselves, if that makes sense. So it is an opportunity that we have, that we've been given, to elevate ourselves to the highest potential of our gifts that we have. We have gifts. We can't find those gifts by looking at someone outside of us. We have to find those gifts within us. That's where they are hidden, these hidden gifts. So the verse today, coming from Psalm number 1, verse 1 to 2, is talking about good and bad. And blessed are the good, and the bad are going to perish, right? And you're blessed. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked. And define what the wicked is. The wicked is someone who is destroying themselves and other people, right? This is what the wicked looks like. Okay, it looks like confusion. It looks like insecurity. That's what wickedness is. Insecurity. Like you're insecure about your relationship, right? You're insecure about the person talking to someone else. You're insecure about someone going out on a date or going with someone else. You're insecure. I mean, I had that happen. So that is what we define wicked as. That insecurity, that jealousy, that envy. What else can be defined as wicked? Demonic, cursing people out. Yeah, those things are wicked. So blessed is the one that does not walk with those things or those people. Okay, blessed is the one who doesn't walk with those folks, or sit in the company of mockers. And when we define what a mocker is, or mockery, to mock is to tease or laugh, or in this contemptuous manner. And blessed are those who don't sit with folks that do that, right? Tease people, laugh at people, and stuff like that. But the ones who are blessed are those who delight in the laws of righteousness. And these laws are compassion, grace, mercy, long suffering, forgiveness. These are the laws of righteousness. And when you meditate on these laws day and night, you're delighted in, you're blessed. So, meditation, thinking about these attributes, okay, thinking about these attributes gives a good foundation of where we need to be when we call ourselves blessed. Okay. Now, thank you, Toledo. Thank you so much for your compliments. I receive them. And your questions about whether I'm single and whether what are my thoughts on lustful people. When we look at this verse, I will answer your question with the verse. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked. So when we define wicked, we're looking at what? Flesh, right? Looking at a person's physical more so than their inner being, right? So you compliment the way I look is gorgeous. That's the outside. My outfit looks comfy, it's cold where I'm at, right? So you're seeing what's on the outside, and that's the first thing you see. But we have to walk by faith, not by what we see, not by sight. So when we talk about lusting, this is what you use to lust is your eyes. Your eyes need to be on the Most High, and that Most High is internal. It's internal. The Most High has been decorated and created images of the Most High. That's why we have white Jesus, because these images were created. When it's written, do not create no images like that. But people have created these images. So when we look at the question Toledo has about lustful people, it's because they haven't matured in their relationship with Christ. That is the Most High, that is this omnipotent forgiveness and love and compassion. They haven't built that relationship yet. So when people are lustful, or they're looking at getting with somebody based on the way they look, or not, you're not getting with somebody because of the way they look, but they check all your boxes, but you're not attracted to them physically, right? That could be a situation too, but you don't want to look at people through your physical eyes. You want to look at people through your third eye in terms of observing their behaviors, observing the things they say, looking at the red flags, not ignoring these red flags, being firm with your yes and with your no. Sometimes we get into relationships and we realize that it's not a relationship for us because we went too fast. And people end up doing that. They end up in relationships for 10 years, 12 years, unhappy. I cannot imagine being unhappy for 2 minutes. I can't imagine it. I am not going to be unhappy in any relationship, whether it is a friendship, whether it's a companionship, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a workship, with your job, I'm not going to be unhappy. So it's important that happiness comes from within. When happiness comes from within, nothing can take it away because it's solidly inside of you. But when happiness is coming from outside, oh, this makes me happy. I love this, makes me happy. And then all of a sudden it's gone. Your happiness is going with it. But once your happiness is inside of you, that you're already happy, and then you find a relationship, that person is already happy too, and you're both happy without each other, but you're happier with each other. And then when something happens, then that person goes, or God forbid they pass away, you're supposed to be your happiest. I know it's hard because you've lost the love of your life, but you're supposed to be your happiest, because these are changes that are happening. And change is inevitable. Change is the only thing that's constant. So we have to change with the change. My dad passed away. That devastated me. I was hurt because I saw him on the ground. I mean, it was just horrible, right? It was unhappy. However, I had to tap in deeply inside to find that happiness that is already inside of me. But it was buried under all the pain, the pain. So right there is the happiness, and the pain is there. So I had to go through the pain. This is the pain. I got to go through the pain and then end up happy, because now the pain has been worked through. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I am not any of those things. But I am talking from my experience. I'm talking from what I went through that may help somebody else. So that pain and that tribulation and that turmoil, I had to work through it. I had to face it, like boom in my face. I had to face it. I had to go through it. And that allowed it to evaporate, where the happiness now rose above all of the pain. And it was a work. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still working on myself. And I think I'm going to be doing that for the rest of my life because nothing is going to be the same without my dad, right? Nothing's going to be the same if you lost your mom. Nothing's going to be the same if you lost your sister. Nothing is going to be the same, because they're not sharing the space with you anymore on the earth. They're no longer here in the physical realm, sharing with each other, right? And it's different when you have broken up a relationship and the person is still on the earth, but they have moved on with someone else. And that has to take time to work through the pain of that, because love just doesn't go away like that. When you love someone and you're in love with them, it may take years for you to let go of it. It may take that long. In my experience, I haven't let go that in terms of the love, because love to me is constant. It doesn't expire. You know what I mean? It doesn't expire. The people may expire, like the relationship may end, the people may go their separate ways, but that love doesn't expire. It's always in our hearts. Mariah Carey has a good song called Always Be My Baby. And when I listened to that song, it just rang, into me in a certain way. So when I look at the verse today and I look at relationships and the different kinds of partnerships that we have with people, organizations, businesses, any relationships that you have, you want to know that you're walking in the laws of righteousness to keep that relationship sustainable. And communication is part of that. Communing with righteousness, talking to God and communicating your feelings, letting it out. That's important. So the verse today really rings true, and it kind of pushes us into the psalm today, that is Psalm 5, that talks about leading all of you out there in righteousness. So in leading you in righteousness, the Psalm number 1, verse 1 to 2 looks at that leading. It says that walking, right? You're walking in the step. You're delighting in righteousness. You are meditating on that every day and night. When we come together now and chant the psalm, that's part of that. That's part of the meditation on the law of righteousness. How are you using righteousness in your life? What are you doing? What laws are you adhering to when it comes to righteousness? So in Psalm 5, I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of what is righteousness, as we talk about it now. So verse 1 tells us to listen. Give ear to my words, O Lord. So we're asking righteousness to listen, and you're communing with that righteousness. You're asking that righteousness to take a moment to listen to your groaning. Take a moment to hear your trials and tribulations, and give attention to the sound of your cry. And you're asking this to righteousness that's king. Okay, people say cash is king, or sugar is king, or whatever, or reading is king. I look at righteousness as king, and that righteousness is God, and that righteousness as king is to what I'm going to commune with. Okay, so it's specific in verse 2. Give attention to the sound of my cry, my King and my God, for to you do I pray. So we are communing with that righteousness, and that righteousness is King. It's God. That's what we serve. We don't serve a Christmas tree. We don't serve a Thanksgiving turkey. We don't serve these things of the world. We're supposed to be serving righteousness so that we are going to be happy. Because when these things of the world we're not able to attain, we get depressed. During Christmas, that's the highest time people want to commit suicide, is they're depressed. So we want to find within ourselves that happiness. And how do we do that? Is we commune with that righteousness. That is the source of happiness. So verse 3, O righteousness, in the rise, my voice is heard. In the rise, I prepare a sacrifice for you and watch. So I love verse 3 because it's similar to a song. Oh, in the rise, you hear my voice. In the morning, I prepare a sacrifice for you and watch. So what are you preparing? What are you doing for righteousness' sake? For righteousness, what are you doing? I'm chanting the psalm, right? I'm going to go walk my dog in a few minutes. I'm going to help the homeless today. I'm going to, advise my students today. What is it that is happening that you are sacrificing for righteousness. I'm sacrificing being away from the love of my life, for example, who ended up meeting someone else. So I sacrifice a lot of things that I want for the greater good of righteousness. So in verse 4, for righteousness is not a God that delights in wickedness, according to the verse of the day that I just read. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked. So righteousness is not a God that delights in that. And evil is not going to dwell with God, with righteousness, right? The boastful shall not stand before righteousness's eyes, right? Righteousness does not love. All evildoers is not loved. Okay? Righteousness destroy those who speak untruths and abhors the bloodthirsty and deceitful human. So this verse 4, 5, and 6 really speaks to this verse today, out of Psalm number 1, verse 1 to 2. It speaks to that. Like, guess what? Those who, when we delight in the laws of righteousness, the law of the Lord, and we meditate on this law day and night, we are blessed. We are blessed. So in verse 7, I, through the abundance of steadfast love of righteousness, will enter the house of righteousness. I will bow toward this Isla temple in fear of righteousness. Like you want to do the right thing for yourself, self-care, because you're so afraid of doing the wrong thing. You fear that and you do the right thing. So verse 8, lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before me, because there are enemies out there who want to come and destroy. They want to lure people away from their relationships, and they want to destroy people's relationships because they have none of their own. So lead me, O righteousness, in righteousness because of these enemies. For there is no truth in their mouth. Their inmost self is destruction. What did I just talk about? They're about destroying people's lives and people's relationships. Their throat is an open grave. All they open their mouth is with deaders. Dead. That's what's in a grave, right? When something is dead, it goes in a grave. Well, the psalm is comparing that to people's throats is an open grave, and people flatter with their tongues. Okay? Oh, you look nice. Oh, you're beautiful. Oh, you're gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I love the way you da da da. And they're flattering with their tongue. But then their throat is also dead words, right? F this and F you and blah, blah, blah. This is what's being said. And righteousness is going to make these folks bear their guilt. They're going to feel guilty about what they've done. And they're going to fall by their own understanding, standing under things or their own teachings instead of the teachings of Jesus, that is long suffering and forgiveness, right? They're not going into that space. So they're going to bear guilt, and they're going to fall by their own counsels because of the abundance of their transgressions. Cast them out, for they have rebelled against righteousness. They picked up the phone and left a vicious voicemail, rebelling against doing the right thing. And when you rebel against doing the right thing, guess what? You have no advocate. When you are relying on your own understanding, guess what? You are pushing away God out of your life. And when you push God out of your life, you're going to be in misery. I've done that before, and it wasn't good. I went on my own understanding. I fell and broke my arm. I didn't lean on God, and I got hurt physically. So I'm telling you from my experience. So don't rebel against righteousness. Don't call people on the phone and leave a vicious voicemail. If you're upset about something about that person, take it to God first. Get that understanding in place first before you go off into your own understanding, right? And that comes with maturity. People who are immature in their relationship to God, they can snap off and be mean and evil very quickly. And the enemy loves those folks. The enemy kind of attaches to those folks like Velcro. So you got a lot of work to do, unpacking your own self. I've had a lot of work to do. I'm 55 years old, and I've had some years to learn some tough lessons about myself and other people. So in verse 11, it talks about, let all those who take safety in righteousness, who lean on that, they're going to rejoice again. They're going to chant and sing for joy because they have erred on the side of kindness. They have taken safety in that forgiving place, that compassion, that long suffering of Jesus. They have taken that space, and their protection is spread over them. This is serious. You want protection, you don't have to go into, a witch and get protection from a witch or from some kind of, whatever person. Your protection is your own righteousness, your own goodness. And I tell people that all the time and they don't believe me. When you do good to someone and you're honest and humble, you're creating a shield of protection around you. But when you lie, cheat, steal, do wrong things to people, that shield is falling away. And guess who's easily to come in? That enemy that's within you. You are your worst enemy. You're attracting even more of them because they're seeing that enemy inside of you and they're clinging on to that. So we have to get right, people. We have to get right with the Most High. This is the time. Time is ticking away. People are going to die leaving their bodies here on the earth, and the lessons they will not have learned. And they're going to be in a situation. So it's important. In Psalm 5, verse 11, all who take safety in righteousness rejoice. And let everyone who takes safety in righteousness chant for joy. Chant for joy. Because there's a spread of protection around folks who take safety in righteousness. Thank you for liking this video, by the way. And those who love the names of righteousness, forgiveness. Somebody told me I can't forgive. Then you don't love God then. If you cannot forgive a person that you see every day, how can you talk about you believe in God and you believe in Jesus? You have to forgive. That is one of the attributes of God, is forgiveness. So when you love forgiveness, compassion, mercy, and all of this for people who don't deserve it, when you use that on folks who don't deserve it, guess what? Those who love these attributes may exalt in righteousness. They're going to exalt. They're going to prosper. They're going to have wealth in abundance. Health is wealth. They're going to be healthy because when your body is stressed, guess what? you're going to break your body down. But when you are joyful, when you're rejoicing, rejoicing means that you're joyful again and again and again and again, right? When you're joyful and joyful, and guess what that does to your body? That creates endorphins. It creates this euphoric feeling. Okay, when women are breastfeeding, when I breastfed, that ran through my whole entire body. It was like I was on a drugs. But it wasn't. It was a natural hormone that comes out of your body when you're at peace. Thank you, Lion's Time, baby. When you're in a serenity or in a tranquility, when you're patient and you are giving of your kindness to those who may not be kind, right? And if that keeps on, if that unkindness keeps happening, guess what? It's time for you to leave and spread that kindness someplace else, because that kindness is not being reciprocated or is not being accepted. So you may have to walk away from that and deal with that from a distance, because then you're draining. Okay, the person becomes a drain because you're trying to be kind, you're showing kindness, and they're still being mean to you. They're still, think you got to walk away for your own safety. You have to go to the righteousness of the Lord, right? So for you, bless the righteous. This is what God is going to do. He's going to bless the righteous and cover the righteous with favor as with a shield. So once you do good, you are covering yourself, okay, with this shield. That's why I have to do good to folks, because I have a conscious awareness of myself. So I, even with the vicious voicemail, I will send love and kindness. I won't retaliate and seek revenge, in other words. My student who was mean to me, very disrespectful, talking about my class in such a downgrading way, I deal with her with love and kindness, where I de-escalated her. And toward the end of the conversation, we left the conversation with love. I said, thank you for sharing your feelings about the class and about what I'm doing in the class, and that is, and I thanked her for her time. I thanked her for taking time out of her night to speak to me and share her concern. I was thankful. That's one of the attributes of righteousness, is being thankful, being kind and compassionate, and having mercy on people. Some people suffer from mental health, so they may need, a kindness and a patience and a mercy, because their mental health may not be fully available to themselves or to even other people. So that is our psalm today, Psalm number 5. And Psalm number 5 really hit home, and I hope that it helped you in some way. I want to look quickly at the word today. The word today, when I looked at it, it came up. Oh my goodness. Oh, hold on one second, y'all. I gotta go to the restroom. I've been drinking so much tea. Tea and tea and tea. Gorgeous boy. Are you up there? Okay, so the word today. Oh my goodness. The word today. Let's get that up. The word today. And I have it pulled up here. My computer went to sleep. So the word today, when I looked at it, where is it here? Ah, guess what the word today is? Goodness. Goodness. The word today is goodness. So for Tuesday, November 19th, I am God's goodness in expression. Yeah, I love that. So if you want, you can say, I am righteousness's goodness in expression. So we express our goodness that comes from, the Most High. So in the word today, goodness, this is what it says. What a bless it is to know with standing firm in righteousness is faith, that righteousness is absolute goodness, the divine source of love, tranquility, and every good thing on earth, right? That's God, right? Goodness is my nature as a divine being, a child of God. When sometimes I speak or act in ways that belie my righteous nature, I do not judge or admonish myself. Instead, I look within myself for blocks to expression of my divine gifts. So I mentioned this earlier that we have to look within ourselves. And yesterday I mentioned that we have to unpack ourselves and look inside there. We cannot depend on someone outside of ourselves to value us or to acknowledge us or to love us. We have to love ourselves fully with no apologies. Okay? Loving yourself is not a sin, right? Because that righteousness, that's God, put that inside of you. You are love. You are the good soil. You are that. So goodness is your nature as a divine being, right? And you look within yourself for blocks to the expression of your divine gifts, not outside yourself. That person did say something to me. That person did this to me. Oh my goodness, I can't express myself because that person, da, da, da. And you're blaming other people. It's you. It's not them, it's you. So perhaps you're holding on to resentment, right? And you could free yourself by offering forgiveness. That's what I talked about earlier, forgiveness. Maybe you are feeling fearful and you could gain confidence through the use of communication to righteousness and affirmations. I am good. I am merciful. I am forgiving. I am compassionate. These are affirmations, positive affirmations. Your righteous practices, practicing righteousness, draws you closer to God because God is righteousness. So when you practice and put it into practice, especially when you're faced with someone or something or some circumstance that's not righteous, you got a chance to practice it now. Practice righteousness, right? So you can draw yourself closer to the Most High. Remember, I said these are building blocks to the Most High, to that goodness. Keep on building there. So that practice draws you closer to God and makes it easier for you to express the goodness that God is, because you're drawing closer to that. So I join those who are awakening their righteousness to bestow divine goodness to the world. I want to join those. So those of you out there who are awakening your own righteousness within you, and you are planting seed into your good soil. Okay, if you plant righteousness inside of you, what's going to grow? righteousness. When you plant forgiveness inside of you, what's going to grow? Forgiveness. You're going to forgive people. People are going to be like, she's fake. She's too fake. What is up with that? She can't be forgiving that much. Yes, because you planted it in your good soil. So I want to share that this word today, goodness, is brought to us by Psalm 23, one of my favorite Psalms, verse 6. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life, and you shall dwell in the house of righteousness for all time to come. Psalm 23. Blessed greetings, Chawa. Amen and amen again. That's right. We are going to give thanks for the word. We are in the word. We're deep in the word. And I love that you are participating in that. Goodness, advantage, benefit, gift, virtue. Thank you, Lions Baby, for putting that word out there to define, because it's always good to define things. And that is a good thing to define these words, right? And looking at the word today, goodness, looking at the psalm today, a beautiful, beautiful psalm today. Psalm number 5. Lead me in your righteousness. Lead me, oh, lead me in your righteousness. Give ear to my words, O Lord. Think about my groaning. Give attention to the sound of my crying, my King and my God, for to you do I pray. Oh, righteousness, in the rise you hear my voice. In the rise I prepare a sacrifice for you, and watch and watch. So that is the psalm today, Psalm 5. Look at it, read it, marinate in it. The word today, goodness. I love that word today, goodness. And our verse today came from Psalm 1, verse 1 to 2. We're at the 8 o'clock hour here on the side of the world. It may be the 7 o'clock hour where you are, but I thank you for joining Chant A Psalm A Day. Mwah. Have a blessed day. And remember, blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take. You know who they are, or sit in the company of mockers. However, blessed is the one who delights is in the law of righteousness, and who meditates on the laws of righteousness day and night. Selah and Selah again. Here ends the psalm for today, everyone. Have a beautiful, blessed day, everybody. And remember, stand in love. Don't fall in it. Walk by faith, not by sight. It's not what you see, it's what you know inside of you. Have a blessed day. We're going to chant the psalm a day, every day. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Bless you, Chawa, L2, Lions Time, baby. All of you on it. Thank you so much, Toledo, for your questions. Thank you so much, Rudy. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Gail, for joining. Thank you. I love you guys. Have a blessed day.